Usually, we see people going from this to this. What we don't see is people going from this to this. Have you ever wondered why success can sometimes feel like a short-lived thrill? Imagine launching a groundbreaking product, ripping the rewards of success, to only find yourself outpaced and overshadowed in the blink of an eye. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ali. I'm an entrepreneurial actor based in Canada. And on this channel, we help fellow entrepreneurs and actors start their own business through side hustles without relying on their acting gigs or their respective work. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. There's a common misconception in the world that people attribute success to as the finish line, as the end goal whenever they launch a new product or service. And once it starts to make money, they're like, okay, we're making money, this is it, we made it. All we have to do now is just, get more products, order more, and then, we're chilling, right? Have you ever wondered why sometimes you launch a product, right, and it does well for the first month or two, but then it starts to go down after maybe a couple months? If you've been in this position, I relate to you. This happened to me. The reason why is because success is basically not what the end goal is. The end goal is to constantly improve your service or your product. When I launched my first product, I made a lot of money in the first 2 to 3 months. And after the third month, I basically started to see a decline in the orders. The reason why I'm saying that is because what I didn't realize is that people in this world are very jealous of other people's success, or at least partial success. And that what they will try to do is that they will try to copy or launch a similar product or service to yours, and they will just price it lower to basically try to take a piece of the pie. And that's a very common theme that we see in today's world whenever we see two people going against each other in the same niche or in the same market. How do you basically counter this? So one of the best ways to counter this is to basically grow your brand. Because when people start to get really loyal to your brand and they like you and then they love your products, only then they will actually stay loyal to your products. So even then there's a new competitor who gets in the field, they will still be loyal to you and they will still order from you. And that's basically where you want to get. So you really want to work on your brand, on the messaging, on the story, on what you're trying to convey. And then you basically, again, want to try to get as much value to your customers as possible so you can gain their trust. Because once you gain their trust, then that's when things get really interesting. And then that's when you basically have your own clientele, which is ultimately what you want. And that's one of the most powerful way to keep getting sales without being outpriced by the market. The second thing is that you also want to do continuous improvement, okay? You always want to talk to your customers. Just like getting your customers is not enough. You also need to talk to them and interact with them on, weekly or monthly basis, just so you're always getting their feedback and always improving on the product. Because if they actually see that, you're not just like sitting back and cashing out the rewards and the profits, but if you're actually going the extra mile and then you're improving on the product and then you're launching the design that they want, and then you're basically going back and forth with these people and then listening to what they're saying to you and launching things that they actually like, well, guess what? They're gonna keep buying from you, but they're also gonna say to their friends about you. You're gonna get more customers, you're gonna get more sales, and you're always gonna have an edge compared to the competition. I mean, when you think about it, when you launch a new product, you're basically testing the market in the first month because you're not sure if your product is gonna work or not, right? You're basically just testing the waters. You're trying a thing or two, seeing if it's gonna work, but you don't really know where you're actually going, do you? Because only when you actually made enough sales over, a long period of time, then you can basically call this real success. Right? It's like going to the gym, right? And then after 3 or 4 months, you start to see the results and you're like, oh, I made it. I'm seeing the results, I'm good. Well, that doesn't mean that you have to stop dieting and you have to stop going to the gym. You still have to keep working out and keep, eating healthy in order to keep, the body that you're looking to have. You're basically just scratching the surface of what your actual result could look like, at the end of it. So the idea is to basically just constantly improve on your product or service, right? Month after month, because if a new competitor or a new guy gets in the market, well, guess what? Since you're ahead of the game, since you're always ahead of the competition, you're constantly improving on the product. On the first order, maybe this was what your design looks like. In the second order, maybe because you predicted that somebody else will launch your product and then outprices you by putting a very low price on this product, well, then maybe this is when you can start to improve, right? Like add something else to the product, even though nobody has actually launched a similar product to yours yet, just because you always want to stay one step ahead of the game. That's kind of the idea here. When you first launch a product, all right, usually if you launch it on Amazon or some other platform, the platform itself will give you a small little boost because, you know, they're gonna give you a bit of the benefit of the doubt. You're a new product, you're a new seller. They're gonna help you out a little bit with, you know, ranking and like sales. So this may actually seem like a good thing, and then you might actually get a first taste at what success is. And you might be making a lot of sales and, you know, like a lot of money, but that doesn't mean that your product is doing well. That's just the initial phase, the little push that Amazon or whichever company is giving you. And then that doesn't mean that you should attribute this to success. And then you should not just sit back and relax and be like, yes, like this, I made it, you know, the product is successful, you know, let's just move on. You know, like this is not how it works, right? So like this, you know, this is just the initial step. This is just the initial phase. You know, you might be getting some sales in the beginning because the algorithm is just helping you out, but you know, that doesn't mean that your product is successful yet. You need to really gauge this over time, over the span of a couple more months. So that's the third thing, is just to really assess the beginning of your launch, you know, like the launch phase, basically. Fourth thing that comes into play is your competitors, the vulnerability of the market. How competitive is the market? Now, once your product does well, you can pretty much guess that there's gonna be a lot of people who's gonna come after you because they saw you know, getting a lot of success with this product, and then they just gonna launch something similar and then outprice you so that they can basically steal your customers. So again, you need to kind of keep track of like who's around you, who else is kind of like navigating in the same, you know, on the same sea as you, and then really try to basically stay one step ahead of them. Right, like just try to like monitor what they're doing from afar, and you know, try to always like stay one step ahead of the game as far as like design and the value of your product. So you really need to make sure to watch out for price wars. You never want to be like part of a price war where like everybody's launching and selling the same product and it's just become a price game at this point for the customer. You never want to find yourself in this position because that's the worst place to be. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Again, feel free to let me know in the comment what you guys think of this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Be safe.